My son and his friend are a couple. How do I let them know it's okay? My boy is 20 years old. He's absolutely my pride and joy, and there is nothing he could do that would ever make me love him less. For the first half of his life, I regrettably wasn't involved very much. His mother and I parted ways when he was just a few months old, and at the time I was struggling with a heroin addiction and was absolutely not as present in his life as I should have been, nor was I suited to fatherhood at all. I saw him, at most, 2 to 3 times a year for the first 12 years of his life. I won't discuss details because that's his private story to tell, but when he was 12 he revealed to me that he was being badly mistreated at the hands of his mother and her boyfriend. Despite not being the best father at the time, I didn't want my boy suffering anymore, so I got myself cleaned up and sorted out in order to get full custody of him. I've effectively been a single and sober father ever since, and he has little to no contact with his mother. He's everything a man could want his son to be. He's uniquely kind and fiercely loyal. He's unflinchingly brave. He's incredibly generous and, despite the horrors he suffered as a child, he's unfailingly positive and sunny to the last. Somehow I of all people was bestowed with the honor of watching him grow from a sweet young boy to the greatest man I have ever known. I cannot stress enough my pride in him. When he was 18, he got accepted into a top-ranking university on the other side of the country. I was sad to see him go, but simultaneously overjoyed that he got into his first choice, and was starting a new chapter in his life. He comes home once every other month, and on the months he doesn't come home, I go to visit him. He's doing well in uni, has made lots of friends and seems incredibly happy there, which I'm obviously chuffed about. Since his second year, he's lived with his friend in a flat off campus. I've strongly suspected since his early teens that my son is gay, and I now more or less have confirmation that this is true and that his friend is actually his boyfriend. So, for this COVID-19 faff, my son decided he'd rather come home and quarantine at mine than stay at his uni flat. His friend, however, would be left alone if my son came back, as he's a Canadian and his family are back over there, and I gather he doesn't have the best relationship with them anyway. He asked if it would be okay if friend tagged along to my house, and I said of course, no problem. They've been back at mine for about 6 weeks now. They think they're being subtle, I know, but I've caught them doing coupley things on several occasions now. The friend has slipped up a couple times and called my son babe and sweetie in front of me, which I pretend not to notice for the sake of saving embarrassment. There have been nights where we will be watching a film with the lights off and, thinking I can't see, my son will have his arm around the friend. One day I walked into the lounge and I'm positive they'd just been kissing and were trying to cover it, though I admit I have no confirmation on that one. The most solid evidence, however, came a few mornings ago. I get up very early to go for runs in the morning, hence why I'm making a Reddit post at 5 in the morning, haha. As far as I was told, my son was sleeping in his childhood room and his friend was in the guest room. I don't know what possessed me to do so, but on Tuesday morning I cracked my son's door to check on him like I used to when he was a kid. Lo and behold, they're both asleep, snuggled up together, in my son's bed. That's more or less solidified for me that they're together. I didn't say anything, just shut the door and went for my run, and I haven't mentioned it to them yet. What I want advice on is this: how do I let my son and his boyfriend know that I'm okay with them being a couple and they don't have to feel like they have to sneak around in my house? I want them to be comfortable here and I want them to know I support them both no matter what. Or is that not a good idea? Am I better off leaving it alone and waiting until they tell me themselves? If they ever do, I obviously don't want to force either of them out of the closet, but at the same time I hate feeling as if they feel like they're being forced into the closet in my house. What's my best course of action here? Too long didn't read. My son and his friend are staying with me for quarantine. It's abundantly clear they're a couple, and I want to let them know it's okay and they don't have to sneak around in my house. What's the best way to go about it? Lawyers of Reddit, what is a detail that your client failed to bring up to you that completely lost you the case? I am actually a lawyer, but I was only watching this trial, not participating. So the case was, that woman A had hit woman B in the head with a heavy beer pint at a bar, and woman B got pretty serious injuries. The defense claimed that woman A had not hit anyone with the pint, but instead had just thrown the pint into a random direction, and it happened to hit B in the head. Thus it was an accident and not a battery. Well, the prosecution had a CCTV tape from the bar, and it was shown at the trial, and the tape clearly showed in HD as A walked behind B, and smashed the pint to her head so hard that the pint shattered on impact. I looked at the defense lawyer and his jaw literally almost hit the table. The prosecutor also noticed this and asked something along, "Thrown, eh?" And the defense lawyer said that due to technical difficulties he couldn't get the CCTV tape to open on his computer when he was reviewing the evidence. Woman A was found guilty. So yeah, I was completely dumbfounded. What is the dumbest thing someone has ever told you? I was going 30 miles per hour in a 30 zone. The police station is on the other street, so I'm always super cautious there. Anyway, an officer pulled me over and claimed I was going 50. I got his dashcam footage. Clearly showed me not speeding, but part of the footage, you can see the police officer going 40 miles per hour to catch up to me. Someone defended the officer by saying, if you were really going 30, then why did the officer have to drive 40 miles per hour to catch up to you? I'm like, I'm going to assume you're joking here, but by some bizarre circumstance that you're actually being serious. In order to catch up to anything, you have to go faster than it. If I was going 50, he wouldn't have ever caught up going 40. Sex shops would sell a lot more products if they had self-checkout. Getting older is nowhere near as scary as your parents getting older. Since whales are milk-producing mammals, you could hypothetically make whale cheese. All Scooby-Doo monsters were people in disguises, yet they were attracted to female monster disguises made by Shaggy and Scooby. Before 1903, any human that was traveling at 120 miles per hour was likely falling to their death. People underestimate how bad 1 HP of damage would hurt in real life. The gay flag is a rainbow is a curve is not straight. You probably met someone who killed someone. The beach is only place where you can bury a child without getting too suspicious. If you can convincingly forge a degree of graphic design, you're practically qualified. People who asked for a pencil every single day in school, how is life going for you? So back in grade 3 by the middle of the year, every classmate in my class of around 28 of us was asking for a pencil every other day or 3 because they would randomly go missing. Fast forward a bit and our teacher was making us do the bi-monthly desk cleaning. As we empty out our desks of books and forgotten assignments, a nearby classmate sets their pencil case on top of their desk with a large thud. Some of us look and gaze upon a pencil case like no other. Now, this pencil case was your standard 6 by 10 inch rectangle, but it was packed so full of pencils that it was a solid cylinder. We started making a scene and the teacher came over to see what was amiss. What followed was the emptying of the pencil case, in which the whole class rediscovered their pencils from the past few months. Fucking Michael, hoarding everyone's pencils. What famous place is not worth visiting? Me, an Egyptian. Ah shit, here we go again. Egypt, it's like if phone scams were a materialized location. You get there and right away the airport is going to start scamming you, take your electronics away and tell you that you need permits for them, which they will gladly sell you, and then tell you that it's the wrong one and have you buy another one. The hotel you stay at will check your bags again like the airport did and again tell you that you need permits or whatever random thing they decide they can get away telling you needs one. The police will extort money from you if they think they can. Fake police will come up to you and fine you or tell you to follow them to different sites where they will charge you. Children will run up to you and ask if you want to ride their camel very aggressively. They will cut you off with their camel and not let you move forward, tell you it's free, and then try to charge you insane amounts of money and call their camel pimp over to deal with you if you don't pay. If you don't get on the camel, they will often even get the camel to attack you. It's all pretty wild, it's not worth it.